Okay, dear devotees, sorry for the delay. We'll get started in a minute. Thank you all so much. Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you for your association. We will get started with the Mangala Charan prayers, and then we'll go ahead with the session. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादां सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः आनंद लीलामय विग्रहाय हेमावदिव्य छवि सुंदराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रस चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय नमो नमस्ते चैतन्य चंद्राय मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं हम वंदे श्री गुरु दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वर। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you once again. Thank you for your association. We'll continue with our Bhakti Vaibhav session. We are in Canto 1, Chapter 12, entitled The Birth of Emperor Parikshit. So in the last session, we saw that how Shaunakadi Rishi, after describing that how Krishna entered Dwarka, was being again questioned by, Sutta Goswami explaining how Krishna entered Dwarka, was being again questioned by Shaunakadi Rishi to come back on track. It's not that Sutta Goswami going off track was not pleasing to Shaunakadi Rishi. They were very happy relishing Katha of prayers of Kunti Maharani, prayers of Bhishma Dev, Krishna leaving Hastinapur, Krishna entering Dwarka. They were very happy hearing all this. Why? Because there so many life lessons that can be learned. And of course, it was Krishna Katha, it was related to Krishna. But still, they want Suta Goswami to come back on track before he gets drift longer. And then in this chapter, we saw that again, Shaunagadi Rishi, they were asking question to Suta Goswami that we want to hear about the birth activities and his demise from this material world and the destination that Parikshit Maharaj achieved after his death. So again, these questions were put forward, and Suta Goswami said, yes, I will be more than happy to describe you about Parikshit Maharaj. But before describing that, he wants to glorify Maharaj Yudhishthir. And also, as Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out, that why he wants to glorify Yudhishthir Maharaj is because of his bhakti towards Lord Shri Krishna, that he was given this such a wonderful Mahabhagavat devotee as his grandson, as Parikshit Maharaj. So before describing about Parikshit Maharaj, he in 3 verses described the glories of, or the qualities of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He described that how he was administering his praja, his citizens very nicely, how he was exactly like his father like King Pandu, and also his father like Dharmaraj, because Yudhishthira Maharaj is Dharmaraj Sutta. And these are, of course, the qualities, but among all the other qualities, the best quality is that he was free from sense gratification. He didn't have any personal agenda. He used to serve his citizens as his own people. And the best was that Suta Goswami brought forward was that he was Krishna Padanusevaya, that he was continuously in service of Lord Shri Krishna. And Prabhupada brings up this point that this is how we should also be engaged in Krishna's service. Then all other, our so-called swadharmas or chaladharmas, secondary dharmas will be taken care of. So if we take care of our Sanatan Dharma, of understanding that we are Krishna Das and our life should revolve around Krishna, then all other so-called dharmas that we are in because of this body will be taken care of. And that all happened with Yudhishthira Maharaj, that because he was engaged in Krishnanusevaya, all the citizens were very happy. And not only happy, his news, his fame, his yasha, it spread all over the celestial planets. So and so forth, that even the demigods, they started aspiring the qualities of Maharaj Yudhishthira. And then the question comes that Suta Goswami actually puts a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is where the answer is already embedded in that question. And he says that what all opulence that Yudhishthira Maharaj had, that is of his queens, his brothers, of course, the great wealth, and because he was ruling over entire Jambu Dvipa. So all these opulences didn't bother or didn't attracted Yudhishthira Maharaj so much. So what is the value of all this when somebody is engaged in Krishna's service? So Suta Goswami says that just like a person who is very hungry, he only needs food. He will be satisfied if he's giving food. You give him the wealth of the 3 worlds, but if he's hungry, he only needs food. In this case, we know that how many people, those who are very wealthy, and suddenly they come to know by the doctors that they have only few days. They want to spend their entire money, the entire money that they have collected, accumulated in their whole life. They want to spend the entire money just to take one breath extra. But the doctors fail to give. And similarly, another example is those who are thirsty, you give them milk, you give them juices, but if they are thirsty, they need water. Similarly, all these opulences are compared to different zeros. It doesn't hold any value. If somebody is devoted to Krishna, they only want their devotional service towards Lord Shri Krishna. No amount of wealth, no amount of family, no amount of opulence, no amount of lordship over entire Jambudvipa can satisfy, just like it was not able to satisfy Maharaj Yudhishthira. So, with all his qualities, opulences, Maharaj Yudhishthira taught the spirit of detachment. That how, if somebody is so much absorbed in Lord's service, then all these opulences are zero. But all these qualities, all these opulences, all these zeros, they hold a lot of value if the zero is accompanied by one. If one is there, then you add 1 0, it becomes 10 and 100 and 1,000 and so on and so forth. Similarly, when we put Krishna in the center of our life, then all other qualities or opulences or possessions we have, it start making some value because all these are used in Krishna's service. After describing about the glories of Yudhishthir Maharaj, then Shaunaka Rishi, he started explaining that how Mother Uttara her womb was attacked by Brahmastra. And because it was a Brahmastra, it was not an ordinary astra, ordinary weapon. This Brahmastra was very, very powerful. And it emitted so much of heat. And the embryo, the boy that was there in the womb of Mother Uttara, started feeling that heat and he was struggling for his life. But at that time, he saw someone else in that womb who was circumambulating him, looking in all directions, and he was four-handed form, wearing yellow garments and golden crown, and he was holding club in one of his hand, and that club was circumambulating Parikshit Maharaj. That he was being protected by that intense heat that was coming out from that Brahmastra. And Parikshit Maharaj was bewildered, seeing that, oh, who is this personality? And how he saw him? He just saw Angushta Matram. He saw the Lord only with the size of a thumb. Prabhupada explains that for this, we don't have to really break our heads, that how come Supreme Lord can become Angushta Matram and enter into the womb of Uttara? Because the Supreme Lord is unlimited in his potency. He can become smaller than the smallest. He can become larger than the largest. So for Krishna, nothing is inconceivable. It's our mentality. We are not able to perceive his potencies, and therefore to us it seems to be very, very inconceivable. So he saw the Supreme Lord. He didn't know that personality is the Supreme Lord. But this is how Parikshit Maharaj describes through the words of Sutta Goswami that how the Supreme Lord was a thumb size. He was having a golden helmet, a shining crown. His body was blackish, and he was wearing the cloth like a lightning, the yellow garments. And he was wearing the molten gold earrings. He was four-handed, and his club was encircling Parikshit Maharaj like a shooting star. So there we ended our session last Tuesday. And today, Thursday, we will continue with our 10th session. I wish I would have finished this 10th verse also last time only, because it was in continuation. But anyways, we'll continue. So Suta Goswami says that this is how Parikshit Maharaj saw. The Lord was enriched with 4 hands, earrings of molten gold, and his eyes blood red with fury. Yes, his eyes was blood red with fury. Why? Because of the anger on Ashwathama, because he released Brahmastra on the womb of Mother Uttara. And we also saw that because even for a few seconds, Krishna took shelter of womb of Uttara. Another name of Krishna is Uttarayana. But that's not the same Uttarayana that Bhishma Dev was waiting. But Bhishma Dev was waiting for the time Uttarayana, when the sun enters into the northern hemisphere. So as he loitered about, his club constantly encircled him. Him means Parikshit Maharaj, that embryo who is there in the womb of Mother Uttara, like a shooting star. Now continuing the verse number 10. Astra Teja Swagadaya. You are able to see it or?
Yes, Mataji. We can see.
Not able to hear, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, give me a minute.
Okay.
Yes. Astrateja swagadaya niharam iva gopati vidhamantam sanim karshe parikshata ka it asu. So here it's been mentioned Astrateja. Astrateja means the teja or the heat that was emanating from that Astra Teja, Swagadaya. Swagadaya means his own Gada, Krishna, his own Gada. Niharam iva gopita. Niharam means just like iva gopatihi. So gopatihi here refers to sun. Okay. So word go means lot of meanings. So go means cows. We say Krishna is Govinda, because he gives pleasure to the cows. Go also means senses. Go means cowherd boys. Go refers to Giriraj Govardhan. Go refers to all the gopis. Go refers to all the gopas. Go refers to all the Goswamis. Go refers to our own senses. And one another meaning of go is raise. So in Sanskrit, there are many meanings of one word. So the go also means raise. And gopati means the master of all the rays. So who is the master of all rays? Is the sun. So Astra Teja Swagadaya, Parikshit Maharaj is now seeing how he's seeing, and Sutta Goswami is telling that with his own Gada, Krishna was protecting Parikshit Maharaj from the radiation, from the Teja that was coming out from that Brahmastra. So how he was doing it? Niharam iva gopati. So he is giving the example that how just like gopati means the sun when it comes out, it immediately evaporates all the dewdrops, all the water. So niharam refers to the drops of dew that you see early in the morning. There are so many dewdrops on the leaves of many plants, but as soon as the sun rays come, with the rays of the sun, with the heat that comes out of the sun, immediately those dewdrops are evaporated. Similarly, vidhamantam sanikarshe, similarly, all the heat that was emanated from the astra that was immediately vanquished or evaporated, or you can say was finished, was vanquished by the club that the Supreme Lord was holding. Pariyekshata ka ityasu, and he was this entire episode was being parikshata, means it was completely observed by that little boy. Or you can say it was completely examined. The word pariksha refers to examination. When we say pariksha hai, right, we could say that we have an exam tomorrow. So parikshata means through his eyes of somebody who is analyzing this entire situation or observing this entire situation. So this entire episode of somebody in the size of Angushta Matram entering into the womb of Uttara and protecting the boy with the heat of that astra, this entire thing was examined by that boy. And therefore, we will come later, it will come later, that his name was Parikshit. Because even after coming out of the womb, he was looking for that same personality who protected him in the womb. Okay. So here, Sutta Goswami is saying, Pariyakshata ka ityasu, and he observed that how he was being protected by the club of the Supreme Lord. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The Lord was thus engaged in vanquishing the radiation of the Brahmastra, just as the sun evaporates a drop of dew. He was observed by the child who thought about who he was.
Thank you, Mataji. So he was observed. He was observed, but also contemplated. So Parikshit Maharaj was also contemplating, oh, who is this personality? Who is this personality? And our Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, though Srila Prabhupada has not given any commentary on this verse, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Parikshit Maharaj was considering, was analyzing, was observing Parikshata, that who has saved me from this material, this this martial stance, means the astra that was coming. Even though this person is not related to me, how come he is in the womb and saving me? So this way he was thinking. Continuing text 11. Vidhuyai tad ameyatma bhagavan dharma gopvibhu mishato dashamasasya traivanthardhare hari. Now we'll spend a little bit again some time on this verse. Vidhoya tad ameyatma. Ameyatma means the self, as Prabhupada says, the all-pervading super soul. So having been washed, having completely washed off. So what was washed off? The heat, the problems, the suffering that was there in the womb of Mother Uttara, everything was washed off. By whom? By Ameyatma, by the super soul. Who is that super soul? He is Swayam Bhagavan. He is the personality. He has a form. He is not some impersonal. He is a person. He is Bhagavan. And who is Dharma Gop? Dharma Gop means he is the protector of Dharma. He is the protector of righteousness. And Vibhu, he is supreme. So these are all the adjectives that are being used for that Supreme Lord. Mishato dasamasasya traivantar antardadhe hari. So protecting that supreme, that boy, Mishato means he was being observed. Dashamasasya means there are many meanings, 3 meanings that can be understood. He was Mishato, he was being observed by Dashamasasya. Dashamasasya means by the one who was wearing nothing except the 10 directions. means he was naked. So that means this refers to Parikshit Maharaj. So he was being observed by Parikshit Maharaj, Tatraivantar Dhare Hari, and while Parikshit Maharaj was observing, Hari, the Supreme Lord, Antardhyan ho gaye, means he became out of his sight. After protecting Krishna, immediately left the womb of Mother Uttara. Dashamasasya also means one who is pervading in all directions. So this can also refer to Lord Sri Krishna. Just like Amayatma, Bhagavan, Dharmagop, Vibhu, and Dashamasasya can also refer to the Supreme Lord who is pervading, because he's all pervading, so he's pervading in all directions and he is unlimited by time and space. This is the meaning that has been brought by Srila Prabhupada in his purport, where he uses the word Dashamasasya also in relation to the Supreme Lord. Another meaning of Dashamasasya means Dashamas, 10 months. That means it also refers to Parikshit Maharaj because he was at that time 10 months old. So he has crossed all the 36 weeks of pregnancy. And now, in this 10th month, when he suffered this heat, actually, before that, he was about to take birth. But suddenly, at that time, Ashwathama released this Brahmastra. So Dashamasasya also refers to the 10th month old baby who is still in the womb of his mother. Mishato, he observed. He observed the great personality, but then immediately that personality, Antardhan, means he became out of his sight. Okay, so we have to understand all these meanings. Let's see what Prabhupada has to say. Somebody can read the translation.
While thus, translation by Srila Prabhupada, while thus being observed by the child, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the super soul of everyone, and the protector of the righteous, who stretches in all directions and who is unlimited by time and space, disappeared at once.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is the meaning that Prabhupada brings forward, that thus being observed by the child means Mishato, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is Bhagavan, the super soul of everyone, that is Amayatma, protector of the religion, that is Dharmagup, and the one who stretches in all directions, who is unlimited by time and space, that is Dashamasasya. Antardhan means he became out of sight. He disappeared from the vision of Parikshit Maharaj. But we also saw two different meanings. One is 10 months old, and another, the one who is dressed in all directions. Where Prabhupada mentions this in his synonyms, that one who is dressed by all directions. And who is that? Of course, Parikshit Maharaj cannot be Lord Shri Krishna, because it was mentioned that how Krishna was wearing that yellow garments. Okay, so these are the different meanings. Prabhupada mentions in the purport, child Parikshit was not observing a living being. So he is expanding on the word Dashamasasya, that how Dashamasasya also means the one who stretches in all directions. And Prabhupada expands this in his purport, that child Parikshit was not observing some ordinary mere mortal soul in the womb. He was limited by time and space. Rather, he was seeing some supreme personality who was unlimited by time and space. Prabhupada says that every living entity is actually limited by time and space. Though qualitatively they may be one with the Lord, but quantitatively there is a huge difference. So that is the difference between the two kinds of all pervasiveness. Because the soul, when it is present in that body, the soul knows only about this body. From Bhagavad Gita, we know there are two Kshetrajnas. One Kshetrajna means the knowledge, the knower of the field is the soul, and another is the super soul. So that Kshetrajna, which is the knower of the one body, is the soul, and that is the living entity. But the one who knows about others' bodies also, that is the super soul. A common man cannot extend its influence over another living entity, but the Supreme Personality can. So that's why it was the Supreme Lord who actually entered the womb of Uttara. Otherwise, even the mother doesn't know whether the whether the child that she's carrying in the 9 months in her womb for 9 months is a boy, is a female, or a male. Even the mother doesn't know. But the Supreme Lord, because he's Dashamasasya, he's not limited by some time and space, he was able to enter the womb of Mother Uttara. Anyone who is surrendered soul unto the Supreme Lord, unto the Supreme, is righteous, and he is specifically protected by the Lord in all circumstances. And therefore, the Lord is addressed as Dharmagup. Prabhupada is saying now he is an indirect protector of the unrighteousness also. Yes, the Supreme Lord protects everybody, directly or indirectly. When he directly protects, he personally intervenes in the life of his devotees, just like he protected Parikshit Maharaj. But he also is an indirect protector because he is a protector. So he is an indirect protector of the unrighteousness also. How? Through his agency called Maya. Then Maya takes over to that soul. So for he rectifies their sin through his external potency. So who is Maya? She is also Krishna's potency only. She belongs to Krishna. Mama Maya. Krishna says, my Maya. So then she takes over. Otherwise, both are protected. One is directly, one is indirectly. Just like Krishna says, there are two ways to worship me, directly or indirectly. Somebody who approaches demigods and worship Krishna, they are also worshipping Krishna only, because demigods will not keep anything for themselves. They will also first offer it to the Supreme Lord and then accept their part of the share. So if somebody is worshipping demigods, they are also worshipping Krishna only, but avidhi purvakam, indirectly. Similarly, Krishna also reciprocates either directly or indirectly. He is present everywhere and can appear and disappear by his will from everywhere and anywhere. And therefore, he is known as Atmatma, or you can say the Super Soul. Now, the Lord is mentioned here, Prabhupada is saying, as one who is dressed in the 10 direction. So he is referring here to the Supreme Lord. Why dressed words is being used? It's not exactly like a dress words, but it is because this means dressed with garments on 10 sides up and down. So this is how the Supreme Lord was dressed in 10 directions. Means up and down he was ornamented. He is present everywhere and can appear and disappear by his own will. His disappearance from the sight of child Parikshit does not mean that he appeared on the spot from some other place. But he was present there. Even after his disappearance, he was there as Super Soul, Amayatma, although invisible to the eyes of the child. So it's not that somebody entered into the womb. No, he just appeared in the womb and he disappeared from the womb. It's not that Parikshit Maharaj saw somebody knocking at the door, knocking at the womb of Mother Uttara, and somebody entering and then somebody leaving. No, he just appeared and he disappeared. That means he was there in the womb, and also after being disappeared from the vision of the child, the Lord was still there. How it's possible? As Amayatma, as the Super Soul, the Lord always accompanies the Jiva. He was present there, and after his disappearance also he was there, although though he became out of sight, means he became invisible to the eyes of that child. This material covering of the effulgent firmament is also something like the womb of the mother nature. So this material covering is also the womb of Mother Nature. And we are all put into the womb by the Lord, the Father of all the living beings. In Bhagavad Gita also we know that how there are three degrees of lust. And one of the degree of lust that was mentioned by which the embryo is covered, by which our consciousness is covered, is just how the embryo is covered by the womb. So three examples are given. Anybody remembers those three examples? How the lust is being covered, just like somebody knows? Remember that from Bhagavad Gita, all Bhakti Shastras?
Mataji, is it by smoke covering the mirror, the fire? Sorry,
Uh,
smoke covering fire, dust covering mirror, and embryo covering the womb.
Very nice. These are the three degrees of lust. How the lust is being covered. Similarly, the living entity, how this is covered. So here also, Prabhupada is saying that this material covering of the effulgent firmament is also something like the womb of the Mother Nature, and we are all put into the womb by the Lord. He is present everywhere, even in this material womb of Mother Durga. The Supreme Lord is present. And those who are deserving can see the Lord, others cannot. We'll continue with text 12. Tata sarva gunodhar ke shaunaku sanukula grahodaye jagnivamsa dhara pandor bhuya pandur ivaujasa. Then tatha, thereafter, sarva means all. Sarva gunat darke. Guna means good qualities, or you can say qualities. Arka means like something which has been appeared like a sun. So thereupon means when the Supreme Lord left the womb and Parikshit Maharaj was completely protected, saved, that time sarva guna darke means all the good qualities immediately simultaneously appeared. Good qualities, or you can say good signs. Good signs also start evolving. Udarke, they start arising. Right? Guna udarke. Udarke means to arise. Sa anukula grahodaya. Grahas, all the grahas means all the planets, the influence of the constellations. They also became sa anukula. Sa anukul means they also became very, very favorable, very conducive, very, very auspicious. So all the good signs also evolved, and signs means signs, all the signs also looks very, very auspicious, very, very favorable. And sa anukula grahodaya means the influence of grahas also became very, very favorable at that time. Jakne Vamsadhara Pandav, at that time, somebody took birth. Jakne means took birth. Who? Vamshadhara, who is the actual, or you can say, the last heir of the Pandavas. Dhara Pandor. Pandor means who is the apparent list heir, means among all the list of the Pandavas, he was the last one. So he was the one who was left. Bhuhya Pandor evaujasa. And that they are saying, Sutta Goswami is saying, Bhuya means in future, somebody who took birth in that very, very auspicious environment will be Bhuya Pandur Evaujasa, will be exactly like King Pandu in Ojasa, in his prowess. Will be exactly like Pandu. Bhuya Pandur Evaujasa will be exactly like Pandu. In future, his prowess will be exactly like Pandu. Somebody can read translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Go ahead.
Thereupon, when all the good signs of the zodiac gradually evolved, the heir apparent of Pandu, who would be exactly like him in prowess, took birth. Next.
Thank you. So, exactly like Pandu, he finally took birth. Prabhupada mentions, astronomical calculations of stellar influences upon a living being are not suppositions. They are not myths, they are factual. So, Jyotish or astrology is a science, and it is one of the anga of Vedas, Vedanga. And anything that is anga of Veda should not be criticized, because then it becomes a namaprad. That is the second namaprad, where somebody blasphemes the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. So if we just say that, oh, this Jyotish is bogus, then it becomes a namaprad. It is not bogus. Why? Because it is Vedanga. It is one of the anga of Veda. Yes, in today's day and time, they are not good readers of Jyotish, of the astrological charts, because we are out, after all, everybody is a living entity and they are not so pure in their sadhana. Because to understand Jyotish, to understand this science, you need your purity, you need sadhana, because everything is on the logical calculations. So not everybody can do it. And there were big Jyotishers, means those who read these charts. They were good astrologers in the past. The classic example we see of the father of Mother Shachi, Nilambar Chakravarti, who read that chart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then we saw how Gargamuni came in Vrindavan, in Gokul, and then he also gave hints to Nanda Maharaj. So they are good astrologers, but in past. Today, day and time, because there are not good astrologers, so we also lose faith in this science. But actually, this is a very bona fide science. So Prabhupada is saying they are factual as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Every living entity, why in Srimad Bhagavatam? Because in future verses we will see that how even Yudhishthir Maharaj asked many Pandits, the great priests, about the future of Parikshit Maharaj. And they foretold about everything about Parikshit Maharaj. So they were good astrologers. But today, day and time, we don't see it, and therefore we lose faith in this science. But actually, we should not. It's a science, it's an anga, it's a Vedanga. Every living being is controlled by the laws of nature in every minute, just as the citizen is controlled by the influence of the state. So if we break the state law, then we are punished by the state. But that is a gross way of understanding. Similarly, in the subtle way also, if we don't behave properly, then we are being governed by these different stars, which are binding upon us and who are acting on behalf of Vishnu and are bound by reactions. So we are bound by reactions. They are also binding upon us, and these stars are also working under the directions of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Our actions are judged by the higher authorities, the agents of the Lord. So when this verse comes that whatever actions we do, there are 12 witnesses, and among those 12 witnesses, there is sun, moon. Who are all these? These are different planets, the grahas that control us. So the law of nature is so subtle that every part of our body is influenced by the respective stars, and the living being obtains its working body to fulfill his terms of imprisonment by the manipulation of such astronomical influence. A man's destiny is therefore ascertained by the by the birth time constellation of stars, and the real horoscope is made by a learned astrologer. It is a great science. See, Prabhupada is also saying. And misuse of a science does not make it useless. If today the astrologers are not able to read, to understand the reading properly, doesn't mean that the science itself is useless or is bogus. No, it is not. Maharaj Parikshit, or even the personality of Godhead, appeared in certain constellations of good stars, and thus the influence is exerted upon the body, thus born and at an auspicious moment. The most auspicious constellation of stars takes place at the time when the Supreme Lord appears. It's very important. See, the most auspicious constellation of stars takes place during the appearance of the Lord in this material world, and it is specifically called Jayanti, a word that is not to be abused for any other purposes. See how Prabhupada is so emphasizing this point, that we should not say, recently we celebrated Gandhi Jayanti in India, right? So it's not Gandhi Jayanti. Gandhi was a mere mortal soul. So it's not Jayanti word cannot be added. We say Gandhi Jayanti, Mahavir Jayanti, Even for Balaram, Lord Balaram, who is the Supreme Lord, the word Jayanti should not be used. We should not say Balaram Jayanti. We say Balaram Purnima. So Maharaj Parikshit was not only a great Kshatriya emperor, but also a great devotee of the Lord. Thus, he cannot take his birth at any inauspicious moment. Naturally, the stars have to be aligned in a proper way, and all the auspiciousness should come out. Only then Maharaj Parikshit can appear in this world. Thus, suitable arrangement of astral influences is never a creation of man's will. No, but it is an arrangement of the supreme management of the agency of the Supreme Lord. Only by the pious acts one can be allowed to get good wealth, good education, and beautiful features. So this is important. That, yes, it is not under our control, but as Prabhupada says, that we have to perform some pious acts, or we should perform some devotional service to attract a pious soul in our life. So those people who enter into Grahastha ashram and they have this aspiration to beget a child, Prabhupada says is better for them that before they indulge into any sexual indulgence, they should at least chant certain number of rounds, and they should perform devotional service, and with that mood, attracting some pious souls in their life, they should engage into sex indulgence. We should do that activity. Therefore, the samskaras are very important. And this is what is known as Garbhadhana samskara, or the first seedling purificatory process that is prescribed for the higher caste. It's not that you just do it. You have to perform a samskara. Only then you can think of having a child. There will be peace and prosperity in the world due to the good and the sane population only. So the good souls are attracted. Naturally, the citizens, everybody will be good only. There is hell and disturbance only because of the unwanted, insane populace addicted to self-sex indulgence. So today we feel that the world is hell, or there are so many disturbances. It's because of these reasons, right? Yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I was wondering that in today's modern age, when people do cesarean delivery, right? So sometimes it is planned, sometimes it's unplanned, and the mother goes into labor, and then the child there's difficulty and it's born as per by surgery. But if they plan because certain dates are auspicious, or the doctor is not available certain dates, and so how will this stars work? Like if someone was going to born unauspicious time, but they see that this is the Ram Navami time, let's do delivery 2 days before. How
No
will
matter,
this work?
no matter how much you calculate, just now you only answered. And sometimes they plan, right? They plan. but not their planned work. Sometimes the doctors say, oh, okay, somebody wants that my child should be born on the 10th of a certain month. And because numerologically, number one is very good, and they want the 10th day and the doctor is not available, or there are some other circumstances that comes and the doctor say, no, 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 you take it some other day. It's not possible on that day. So even though we plan, but that planning also comes through the intelligence of Krishna only. So the stars only influence that planning. So I'll give my own example. When my child was it was a cesarean, and we planned, we asked our astrologer that, okay, tell us what is the best, day among this entire week, because the doctor said in this week I have to undergo a surgery. And he gave, a particular date, and he said that go ahead, that everything is auspicious and you can go on that day. And fortunately, doctor was also available. But later, when the child was born and we went through, it came out that the child is a Manglik. So even though seeing all the auspicious signs, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. With our so-called mundane vision, how can we plan that cesarean, the C-section child? It's not possible. So all that is also influenced by the planets only. That's how we have to understand. Maybe Praladananda Prabhu, being a doctor, can put something on this. Yes, please.
Yeah, this is very nicely explained by Mother Devahuti. She says, "Karmana Devanetrena." Whatever we plan, but it is already planned by Dev before that. Karmana Devanetrena Jantur Devapapate. So whatever planning you do, just like you said, I delivered both my sons myself. I was doing gynec that time and delivered both of them myself like that. But it is already decided which spirit soul will take birth in which family, which mother. All this is according to their karmana devnetrena. So this is how we can reconcile this like that. Thank you, Mother Hari.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah.
One more question I had was, thank you, Prahladanand Prabhu. That like this in ISKCON we have this samskar book, right? So
Mm.
long time ago I was following it, when I was
Kriya
going to have
Sarvika.
children, so many things. And but and not everything came according to whatever was written, and even if we followed, but that's okay. But other question I had was that one weird thing was written that after some, I forgot the actual details, but like third month or whichever month, when you want to choose the gender, you do this or that. But actually, at the time of conception, only the gender is fixed, right? Although we find out later. But how true or untrue that is, that after doing some sanskar you can have this child or that child and stuff, and interfering with nature by taking medicines to destroy the X chromosomes, like all
No,
my
no, no, that
relatives are
should not.
doing that. They are doing that, and everyone is having boy child because they like that. So how all this?
No, that doesn't work like that. Rather, I don't know. I don't want to comment on that book, because that Samskara book is actually by Gopal Bhatt Goswami. So, Srila Gopal Bhatt Goswami, actually, he wrote that Satsar Dipika, that Samskara book. But I have personally not gone through, and I don't know about that, how you can even change, because as you rightly said, that at the time of conception only it has been ascertained that what child will take birth. But yes, today's day and age, they are manipulating, they are playing with the nature, and therefore the reactions are heavy. So one should not do that, like you said, that breaking the X chromosome so that it doesn't unite with X, it should go with Y chromosomes. So we should not play with the nature. because we are doing it, that's why we are seeing so many adversities in this entire world.
Thank you, Mataji.
Text 13. तस्य प्रीतामना राजा विप्रधौम्या कृपाद्भिः जातकं कारयन् आसा वाचयित्वा च मङ्गलम्. Then Tasya Pritamana Raja, that Yudhishthir Maharaj, when the child took birth, he was very, very happy. He was very, very satisfied. Pritamanaha, his mind got very satisfied. Then, along with the Vipras, the Brahmanas, and Dhaumya Rishi, Dhaumya, who was the chief among all the priests, and Kripa means Kripacharya, Adibhi, etc. Jatakam Karayamasha. Yudhishthir Maharaj performed another samskara that is known as Jata Samskara, Jata Karma Samskara, that is the name giving ceremony. And at the time of name giving ceremony only, the astrology, the chart is being read by the astrologers. And Vaichaitva cha Mangalam, these rishis, Adibhi means other rishis, accompanied by Dhaumya Rishi and Kripacharya, they recited their Mangalam, they recited the auspicious hymns, or Mangalacharan means they recited some auspicious mantras. Now, here we see the word Kripabdi is being used. Kripabdi means Kripa Adibhi, that is Kripacharya and other rishis. So, Kripacharya was also present. So, that means Kripacharya, who was there in the war of Kurukshetra. So, two personalities were left from the Kaurava side. Actually, many, but I know about two, Ashwathama and Kripacharya. They are the main ones. And Kripacharya also was fighting against Pandavas. He was towards Kauravas. And but this Kripacharya later was accepted by Yudhishthir Maharaj. This shows that how he was accepted by Yudhishthir Maharaj, because he was present at the name-giving ceremony of Parikshit Maharaj. So this shows that even after, because even though he fought on the side of Kauravas, still he was accepted by Maharaj Yudhishthir. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. King Yudhishthira, who was very satisfied with the birth of Maharaj Parikshit, had the purificatory process of birth performed. Learned Brahmanas headed by Dhaumya and Kripa recited auspicious hymns. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Gauranga Gopal Prabhu. Happy to hear your voice. Okay, so now in the purport, Prabhupada mentions in detail about Kripacharya. So first he talks about that how one should follow this Varnashrama system, and if somebody is not following, that's why the population of Shudra is increasing, and there is a Pancharatrika system that is recommended for this age. So the Pancharatrika and the Bhagavad Dharma has to combine together and should be accepted by the devotees, because these purificatory processes should be performed, like Garbhadhana Samskara, Samantonainam, or Jataka Samskara, or other samskaras when the child grows till the child is married, till the Vivaha Samskara happens. So see, Prabhupada is writing, Garbhadhana Samskara, Simantonainam, Sadhabhakshanam. Shadbhakshanam means here refers to the grain taking ceremony, then Jataka Karma. All these are different samskaras and we should follow. Then he talks about Kripacharya. So he gives this history, this itihas of Kripacharya, how he is the son of Rishi Sardabhan. So I'll just read Prabhupada's purport, you'll come to know. So Kripacharya is the son of great Rishi Sardabhan and was born in the family of Gautama Rishi. And the birth is said to be accidental. So by chance, the Rishi Sardabhan met Janapadi, who was a very famous society girl of heaven. So she was Apsara. And this Rishi discharged semen in two parts. right? When he met that girl. By one part, immediately a male child, and by the other part, a female child were born as twins. The male child was later known as Kripa, and the female child was known as Kripi. Maharaj Shantanu, while engaged in chasing the jungle, picked up these children and brought them up to the Brahminical status by some proper purificatory process. So who? Maharaj Shantanu, who was the father of Bhishma Dev. Kripacharya later became a great general, though he was brought up as a Brahmana, but was also taught some military science. So he became a great general like Dronacharya, who was also a Brahmana, but very expert in the military warfares. And his sister was married to Dronacharya, the Kripi. So Kripi and Dronacharya had a son, Ashwathama. Kripacharya later on took part in the battle of Kurukshetra and joined the party of Duryodhana. Kripacharya also helped killing Abhimanyu, who was the father of Maharaj Parikshit. But he was still held in esteem by the family of the Pandavas due to his being a great Brahmana as Dronacharya, as great as Dronacharya. This is the tolerance of Pandavas. Somebody who was engaged in mercilessly killing their own children still were forgiven by the Pandavas. You can see the height of the forgiveness they have. Today, if somebody does something to us, it is written for eternality in our notebook, and we don't want to forget. Now see how mercilessly Abhimanyu was killed. And Kripacharya also helped killing Abhimanyu. He was one of them. But still, he was forgiven by Pandavas and was accepted as a family priest. So when the Pandavas were sent to forest after being defeated in the gambling game with Duryodhana, Dhritarashtra entrusted the Pandavas to Kripacharya for guidance. After the end of the battle, Kripacharya again became a member of the royal assembly, and he was called during the birth of Maharaj Parikshit for recitation of auspicious Vedic hymns to make the ceremony successful. Maharaj Yudhishthir, while quitting the palace, not only inviting him only for the name-giving ceremony, but when he quit the palace after the departure of Lord Shri Krishna and he departed to Himalayas, at that time also he entrusted Kripacharya with Maharaj Parikshit as his disciple, because Maharaj Parikshit was very young at that time. And all these Pandavas, they left home satisfied. Why? Because Kripacharya was taking charge of that young boy, Parikshit Maharaj. So the great administrators, kings and emperors, they are always under the guidance of the learned Brahmanas, like Kripacharya, and thus were able to act properly in the discharge of political responsibilities. So this is how Prabhupada brings the glory of Kripacharya. Text 14. Hiranyam kamahim gramam hasti ashwan ripatirvaran pradat swanam cha viprabhya prajatirthe satirthavit. Very simple. Hiranyam, that is gold. So now Yudhishthir Maharaj, he called all these rishis, brahmanas, and now he wants to give in charity, because you cannot leave brahmanas like that. You have to give something in charity. So what he gave? Hiranyam, gold, gam, cows, mahim, land, gramam, villages, hasti, that is elephants, ashwan, that is horses, nripatir, varan. Varan means he reward. Who? Nripa means the king. He rewarded all these brahmanas. Pradat, he gave in charity. So annam, he also gives annam, food grains. He also gave food grains, chaviprabhya, and he gave it to other brahmanas also who were present there. Prajatirthe satirthavit. So he's saying he gave this charity because he knows whom, how, and when to give the charity. This is important. Just giving charity is not important. We should know when are we giving, to whom are we giving, and where we are giving. Okay? So this is also important. Like sometimes we see a lot of beggars, and if we give them cash or give them some money, and if for us it looks that, oh, we have given the charity, but imagine what if they go and buy liquor, or they um, do some illicit sex, or they eat some meat, then we do get karmas. So praja tirthe cha tirthavit. Tirthavit means he knows how, when, and where the charity has to be given. So he gave the charity at the birth of his son. Somebody can read translation.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Upon the birth of his son, the king, who knew how, where, and when charity should be given, gave gold, land, villages, elephants, horses, and good food grains to the Brahmanas.
Thank you, Mata. So even in Bhagavad Gita also, 18th chapter, we see that this charity is being mentioned, austerity, charity, all these are also mentioned, and it can be performed in different modes. There are austerity and charity in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? So we should know how, where, and when should that charity be given. And because Yudhishthir Maharaj was very well known, so he gave this charity nicely. Purport, Prabhupada writes, only the Brahmanas and the sannyasis are authorized to accept charity from the householders. This is again a very important point, that only the Brahmanas and the sannyasis are authorized. Sometimes when we go to some dham, we see that lot of people, they distribute these prasadam, puri halwa or puri chole, or some biscuits or something they give it. But we should understand that actually, being in grahasthas, we have no rights to accept that. So we should be very cautious, okay? Because this is the charity that they are doing it, and this charity is for the one who cannot afford it. So if we are in grahastha life, so we should be very, very careful not to accept such charities. And even if when we are hungry and we find that somebody is giving, then, and if we are eating it, we are honoring it, then at least we should give some donation. So therefore, in the temple also it is said that you should donate before accepting any anna, before accepting any food. In all the different occasions of samskaras, especially during the time of birth, marriage, and death, wealth is distributed to the brahmanas. So this is very common. And this charity was substantial in the shape of gold, as per, jiski jitni shakti utna daan de sakte hain. Means as per your capacity, you can give that charity. Like we see in the case of Vasudev Maharaj, he was in prison. He was not able to give any kind of charity at the birth of Lord Shri Krishna. So what he did, in his mind, he gave. And later when he came out, he physically gave that charity. So it has to be given. Yatha Shakti, Jitni Shakti hai, as per your limit, you can give. The word Tirthavit is very significant because the king knew very well where and when this charity is to be given. Charity is never unproductive or blind. In the Shastras, charity was offered to persons who had deserved to accept charity by dint of some spiritual enlightenment. So-called giving it to Daridra Narayana, a misconception of the Supreme Lord by unauthorized person, is never to be found in the Shastras as an object of charity. Nor can a wretched poor can receive much munificent charity by the way of horses, elephants, land, and villages. Because if that poor is not spiritually enlightened, will misuse these assets. So therefore, we have to be very, very careful who is misusing the money or the charity that we are giving. The conclusion is that the intelligent men or the brahmanas specifically engaged in the service of the Lord were properly maintained without any anxiety for the needs of the body, and the king and other householders gladly looked after all their comforts. So why the Brahmanas were so pure? Because they had no other business except to study or get spiritually enlivened and enlighten the king. Why? Because their basic needs were taken care. Today we don't see, because today the Brahmanas are not very well taken care by the Grahastha. So it's a duty of a Grahastha that those who are in Grahastha ashram, they should take care of other ashrams, the Shudras, the Vaishyas, and the Brahmanas. Sorry, the Shudras, sorry, not the Vanaprasthis, yeah, the Vanaprasthis, the Sannyasis, and the Brahmanas, we should take care. It is enjoined in the Shastras that as long as the child is joined with the womb, with the mother by the navel pipe, that is umbilical cord, the child is considered to be one part with one, to be one body with the mother. But as soon as the pipe is cut, the child is separated from the mother. The purificatory process of Jata Karma is performed, that is cutting the umbilical cord, and then the name giving ceremonies. The administrative demigods and the past forefathers of the family come to see a newly born child, and such an occasion is specifically accepted at the time of distributing wealth and the right persons productive for the advancement of the society, for the spiritual advancement of the society. Text 15. Tam uchur brahmanastushta rajanam parashanvitam isha hi asmin prajatantau Purunam Purvarshava. Somebody can read the translation.
I can read, Mataji.
Yeah.
The learned Brahmanas, who were very satisfied with the charities of the king, addressed him as the chief amongst the Purus and informed him that his son was certainly in the line of descent from the Purus.
Yeah. So these thank you, Madhurana Mataji. So these Purus, these Brahmanas, they were very satisfied with the charity that was given by Raja, by the king. The Tushta Brahmana Tam Uchuhu. Thus they addressed Tam Uchuhu Brahmana Tushtaha Rajanam. So they were very, very pleased. They're very, very obliged by the charity that was given by Maharaj Yudhishthira. And they said that this boy, the chief among the Purus, was informed. Who is the chief among the Purus? That is Yudhishthira Maharaj, was informed that his son, of course, it was not his son, but it was like he was Maharaj Yudhishthira's grandson, but it referred to as his son, was certainly in the line of descent from the Purus. So here it is mentioned about the Purus, not the Kurus. So it is Kuru dynasty as well as Puru dynasty. So how to understand this? The Puru is actually the ancestor of the Kurus. So it starts with Maharaj Yayati. It comes in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam about King Yayati, how he was married to two girls, right? Daughter of Shukracharya, Devyani, and another
Sharmishta.
Right? And then he got 5 children, Yadu, Turashu, Anu, and one of them was Puru. But later, Shukracharya cursed Yayati, Maharaj Yayati, to get premature, come to his old age. And he still wants to enjoy because he was in his prime youth. So he went to all his 5 sons to exchange their youth, and nobody agreed. Finally, it was Puru, the youngest child, who agreed and pleased, was very obedient. So he accepted, he gave his youth to his father, Yayati Maharaj, and finally accepted his old age. And later, when Maharaj Yayati came to know that how he was so much engaged in sense gratification, he gave the youth back to his child and also blessed him and gave him the entire kingdom. So Puru, at that time, he became the founder, or you can say the main person of this Paurava dynasty. And from Puru, the Kuru came. Kuru, the king Kuru came, and then from Kuru it came to Kaurava dynasty. But the real ancestor was Puru. So from Paurava dynasty comes Kaurava dynasty. So sometimes they are referred to as Kurus and sometimes they are referred to as Purus. So here they are referred as Puru. So Maharaj Yudhishthir is being addressed as chief amongst the Purus. And so Puruva Rishabha. Sometimes it is also in Bhagavad Gita, we say that Krishna addressed Arjuna as Bharata Rishabha, the best of the Bharata dynasty, because they come in the same lineage. Yeah. So we can do one more words at least. Daivena pratighatena shukla samsthamupeyushi rato va anugraharthaya vishnuna prabhavashuna. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna. The Brahmana said the spotless son has been restored by the all-powerful and all-pervasive Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. In order to oblige you, he was saved when he was doomed to be destroyed by an irresistible supernatural weapon.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to hear some new voices. I know you all are there. But when you don't participate in reading, I don't get to know you because I'm not here just to see the list of the participants. But I recognize your voices, so I'm so happy to hear that you all are there.
Really
Yes, thank
absorbing, Mataji, always.
you.
Soaked in Bhagavatam's nectar. Thank you.
Thank you. So Prabhupada says, the child Parikshit was saved by the all-powerful and the all-pervasive Vishnu for two reasons. So the first reason he gives, because the child in the womb of his mother was spotless. He has no contamination due to of his being a very pure devotee of the Lord. The second reason why he was saved, because child was the only surviving male descendant of Puru, the pious forefather of the virtuous Maharaj Yudhishthir. The Lord wants to continue the line of pious kings to rule over the earth. Dharma samstapnarthaya sambhavami yuge. He wants to establish that dharma. And that dharma can be established when the pious kings rule. So, because after Pandavas, after Maharaj Yudhishthir, somebody has to take care of the kingdom. And because this boy, the Parikshit Maharaj, was a very, very pure devotee of the Lord, therefore Krishna said, no, he has to be saved, because after Pandavas, he is the only heir left, the only surviving male descendant of Puru. So after the battle of Kurukshetra, even up to the next generation of Maharaj Yudhishthir was annihilated. We know all the sons of the Pandavas, they were mercilessly killed by Ashwathama. And there were none who could generate another son in that great royal family. Nobody was left. No male member was left. So Maharaj Parikshit, who was the son of Abhimanyu, was the only surviving heir apparent in this family. And by the irresistible supernatural Brahmastra weapon of Ashwathama, he was forced to be annihilated. But Rakhe Krishna Mare ke, Mare Krishna Rakhe ke. The Lord here is described here as Vishnu, and this is also very significant. Lord Krishna does the work of protection and annihilation in his capacity of Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is the plenary expansion of Lord Krishna, and the all-pervasive activities of the Lord are executed by him in his Vishnu feature. Child Parikshit is described here as spotlessly white because he is also an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. And such unalloyed devotees of the Lord appear on the earth just to execute the mission of the Lord. Say they come only for a specific purpose. They don't have there any prarabdha. They don't have any karmas because of which they have to come and bear. They just come to execute the mission of the Supreme Lord. Just like our dear Srila Prabhupada also in one of the conversation, he mentions that actually I don't want to come, but I was forced by the Lord to go and distribute my books. So to go and preach this message of Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada says that he only came for the purpose to execute the mission of the Lord. The Lord desires the conditioned souls also, which are hovering in the material creation, to be reclaimed, to be back home, back to Godhead. Yes, the Lord desires, but it's only we who are very adamant because of the false ego, because of the ahankar pravritti, because of the ignorance, avidya, that no, we want to stay in this world. We make all the different arrangements so that we can make this world as our permanent resident. We want PR of this material world. We are fighting to get the PR of different country, but if we think a little further that we have accepted the PR of this material world, permanent residence, we don't need it. The Lord is desiring, but we are the one who are staying back. And how he's desiring so that he's helping them by preparing these transcendental literatures like the Vedas, these Shastras. They are the one that are guiding us, and sadhus by sending missionaries of saints and sages, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, by reputing the representative, the spiritual master. So Lord is making all arrangements so that these conditioned souls somehow come in contact with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra and understand the futility of this material world and make arrangement to come back. But we, even after coming in contact with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, want permanent resident of this material world. Such transcendental literatures, missionaries, and representatives of the Lord, they are spotlessly white because they are pure, because the contamination of the material qualities cannot even touch them. They are always protected by the Lord. Such foolish threats are made by the gross materialist. So the Brahmastra, which was thrown by Ashwatthama at child Parikshit, was certainly a supernaturally powerful, and nothing in this material world could resist its force of penetration, because it was Brahmastra. Brahmastra is that astra which is, when directed to a particular object, it never fails. It's an astra of the Supreme Brahma, Lord Brahma. But however, the all-powerful Lord who is present everywhere within and without could counteract by his all-powerful potency just to save a bona fide servant of the Lord, the descendant of another devotee, Maharaj Yudhishthir, who was always obliged by the Lord by his causeless mercy. So how beautifully Prabhupada is writing that Krishna always gives the protection. Name Bhakta, Kauntaya Pratijani, Name Bhakta Pranishit. You declare, Arjun, that my devotees will never perish. And we, being Krishna's devotee, calling ourselves as devotee, as Krishna Bhakta, at least have faith on Lord Shri Krishna. If we cannot do anything, forget about sincerity in chanting, dedication in chanting, reading books of Srila Prabhupada, reading Shastras. If we cannot do this, at least we can have faith in the words of Krishna. Then Krishna says, Kauntaya Pratijani Name Bhakta Pranishyati, that my devotees will never perish. At least we can have that much of faith on Krishna, that Krishna will not do anything wrong to us. So yes, adversities, dualities of life, these are the part of this world. Accept it, tolerate it, and have faith in your master. Had faith in Lord Shri Krishna, that his words will never fail. After all, he is known as Achyuta, who is infallible. He doesn't fail like a mere mortal soul. Our friends, our relatives may promise something and they can step back and we cannot question them. Right? But the Supreme Lord is not like that. First of all, he'll not take a step back. For us, it looks like he has been neutral or he's not interfering and he has taken a step back. But no, he's always there. He's infallible. His name is Achyuta. He cannot fall from his words. Right? So apparently, if it looks like that he has fallen, that is our perception. And with our mundane perception, we cannot understand the spiritual moves that the Supreme Lord makes. So for us, it looks like, no, it's getting worse in my life, but actually it is not worse. It's Krishna's arrangement. At least that much faith we can have in Krishna. After all, he is the Supreme Lord. If he can counteract that Brahmastra, then what to talk about the problems that we face in this life? So, but the point is faith. That's why Rupa Goswami says, Adho Shraddha. Forget about reaching to the level of bhava and praying. At least have that faith. Don't question the Supreme Lord when we feel some calamities or some adversities in our life. That faith we should have. My Lord will protect. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna Vishwasa Palana. It is the one limb of Sharanagati. And all these Shastras, what they teach us Sharanagati only. Whether we go and read Bhagavad Gita, that ends with Sharanagati only. Sartharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam, Krishna himself is saying. Meri Sharan mein aao to sahi, ek baar aakar to dekho. Just see, just surrender once. Prapadyante, mameva hi prapadyante, maya metam tarantite. I'll take you cross over this maya which is unsurmountable. But just surrender once. That once is needed. In Ramayana, or Sakradeva Prapannas, just once say that I am yours and you are mine, Krishna. Then see how many steps he takes forward to protect us. The lacking point in us is faith. We feel, oh yeah, I'm very, very surrendered when everything is going good and life is good. That surrenderance will come. That's natural. What if something happens which is against our wish and some dukkha, some distress comes? We start questioning, why me? Koi aur nahi mila Krishna, only me. So at least we can stop questioning in this manner and have that faith. Krishna will protect. Sorry, just got diverted. Tasmannamna Vishnurata iti loke bhavishyati na sandeho mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan. Somebody can read the translation.
For this reason, this child will be well known in the world as one who is protected by the personality of Godhead. O most fortunate one, there is no doubt that this child will become a first-class devotee and will be qualified with all good qualities.
Thank you, Mataji. So this is how all the rishis, they are predicting, foretelling the future of Parikshit Maharaj. That because this child is Tasman Namna Vishnurat, his name is Vishnurat because he was personally protected by Vishnu. Iti loke bhavishyati, so in Bhavishya, he will be very, very famous. In all the planets, he will be known as Vishnurat because he's personally protected by Lord Vishnu. Na sandeho, don't get any doubts about this child because he's Mahabhag, he's very, very fortunate. After all, the Supreme Lord himself intervened and protected him. Mahabhagavato Mahan, and he's a first-class devotee. He's Mahabhagavat, and he's Mahan. He's endowed with all the good qualities. Prabhupada writes that how the child gives protection, the Lord gives protection to all the living beings because he is the supreme leader. So Prabhupada talks about that how there are two living beings that are one, the personality of Godhead provides for all other living beings. By knowing him, one can achieve eternal peace. The difference between the two living beings is that the personality of Godhead, provides for all the living beings, and by knowing him, one can achieve eternal peace. Such protection is given by the different potencies to different grades of living beings. But as far as his unalloyed devotees are concerned, he gives the protection personally. Maharaj Parikshit is protected from the very beginning of his appearance in the womb of his mother. And therefore, he's a first-class devotee. He's a Mahabhagavat, endowed with all good qualities. And Prabhupada talks about the three Mahabhagavats, that is Uttama Bhagavat, Uttamadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Kanishthadhikari. Those who go to the temple, worship the deity, with not sufficient knowledge, they are known as Kanishthas, third-class devotees. But those who are endowed with the qualities of Prema, Maitri, Kripa, Upeksha, they are second-grade devotees. Prema to those who love Lord Shri Krishna, Kripa to the beginners, Maitri towards the peers, and Upeksha towards those who are envious to the Lord. But there are the Mahabhagavats who see everything in relation to the Lord. They see everybody as Uttama and themselves as Adama. They are the Uttamadhikari or the first class devotees. Such first grade devotees of the Lord, they are perfect in all respects and automatically they are endowed with all the good qualities such as, and thus a Mahabhagavat devotee like Parikshit Maharaj is certainly perfect in all respects. And because Parikshit Maharaj took his birth in the family of Yudhishthir Maharaj, who is also a Mahabhagavat, he is addressed as Mahabhagavat, the greatest of all the fortunates. The family in which a Mahabhagavat takes his birth is fortunate. Why? Because due to his birth of a first grade devotee, the members of the family, past, present, and future, up to 100 generations, become liberated by the grace of the Lord. Here we have to understand liberated means that they are given the opportunity to either take birth in a devotee family and practice devotion and further progress in their spiritual life. Therefore, the highest benefit is done to one's family simply by becoming an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. So this is the highest benefit that we can give. So we'll stop here in this regard. I just want to mention one thing. My Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj, he mentioned in his book, Ocean of Mercy. Most of you might have read it. In that also, Guru Maharaj mentions that when he was joining ISKCON, at that time, actually, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj tried to influence Guru Maharaj's father that let him join, and Guru Maharaj's father was very reluctant, that he said no. But finally, Maharaj made up his mind and he said, no, I have to join. So he has brother also. My Guru Maharaj has brother. So father told that you are not even taking up the responsibility of taking care of me, because if you accept sannyas and you join this movement, then how will you take care of us? Then he said, Guru Maharaj said, one brother will take care of your material needs. And if I take sannyas and join this movement and become a good devotee of the Lord, then I'll take care of your spiritual needs. So the highest benefit is done to one's family simply becoming an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. Because if one becomes a Mahabhagavat, and then the past, present, and future up to 100 generations are taken care of. So that's the beauty of becoming a devotee of the Lord. Okay, so we'll stop here. We'll continue from verse number 18 on Tuesday. So thank you all so much. Let's see if we have any quick questions, comments, any corrections, any additions. Yes, Praladananda Prabhu.
Mataji,
Yes.
not only that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even told that I will deliver the dogs of that town.
Yes, that's
So,
why Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Kita Janma Hoy Yadi Tuvadas. If you have
right,
desired Krishna that I'll take a body of an insect, then make me a body of a Bhakta Griha. And I may
right.
become an insect in the house of a devotee so that I can be taken care of.
That's right. So,
Thank you.
we are all fortunate because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy that we came to the spiritual consciousness. Also, the point you were mentioning about Shraddha, as soon as we have Shraddha, Bhagavan Krishna says, those who do not have Shraddha, what happens to them? Ashraddhana Purusa Dharmasya Asya Parantapa. Aprapya mam nivartante mrityu sansar vartman. 9.3 Bhagavad Gita. So Shraddha is very important, to start with. Without Shraddha, tada sadhu sang, like that. So, Shraddha is contagious in the sense that we do sadhu sang, we get the Shraddha from them, like that. So this is another small contribution, Mata. Haribol.
Thank you. Actually, it's vice versa. It's all of your faith that is influencing us to be pakka in our, at least in our Bhakti Shastris and Bhakti Vaibhavs, that we are able to join this and discuss Krishna Katha in that Sadhu Sangha. So always feel that these courses, yes, externally we are doing it from the certificate point of view, but internally it's really relishing us. Like it feels like we are in that Sadhu Sangha, studying Bhagavatam together, Bhakti Bhagavad Gita together. So, thank you to all of you. Okay. If not, we can stop here. If no further questions. Thank you so much. Thank you for your association. We'll stop here. See you all on Tuesday. And we'll start from verse number 18. Vansha kalpatarupscha kripa sindhu vayevacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, all the assembled Vaishnavas ki jai.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Krishna.
Jai. Okay, dear devotees, ending the call. Hari Hari.